So in the sports world today, athlete product endorsements have moved far beyond just athletes simply wearing brand logos. These brands aren't just looking for talent anymore. They're looking for athletes that can reinforce their ideologies and campaign goals to appeal to the public. So a lot of these major sportswear companies like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, New Balance, they each now have a different approach to athlete partnerships
Given
and different
athletes
strategies
a
that will help
platform
reflect
to lead.
their missions and campaigns and goals for the future.
So Nike has always given athletes a platform to lead and to be in a position to have a big cultural impact in whatever way they want. And they typically partner athletes who not only just perform at the highest level, but would also have a very big cultural impact on society. And ultimately, their mission is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete. And that drives them to find different ways to scout talent and find different athletes that would appeal to their brand and their campaign goals. And it's for them, it's not really enough just for the athlete to win. They need to be able to spark conversation, be slightly controversial, but more so in a positive way, and be able to challenge norms and go against, what typical athletes usually do. They need to be somebody that breaks barriers. And for Nike, that's somebody that they would see as successful. Athletes such as Serena Williams, LeBron James, Caitlin Clark are really good examples of this. They are all signed with Nike, and one of the main reasons is because they're all trailblazers. They're trendsetters. A lot of people look up to them, not just because of how dominant they are at their sport, but because who they are and what separates them from all the other athletes. And that's really what Nike's starting to look for and what a lot of other brands are beginning to look for, not just athletes that may be popular, but really athletes that can push a narrative and even make a big cultural impact for the game, but also for the brand and themselves especially. Another brand such as Adidas, on the other hand, they really focus on seeing sport as a concept for change. And one of their brand's messages are, through sport, we have the power to change lives. And it's for them more than just a marketing slogan. It's really their philosophy for the athletes that they want to invest in. So we see Adidas partner with athletes such as Patrick Mahomes and Lionel Messi, and their main goal is to connect and innovate with certain athletes that will have a much more global impact and reach a broader audience while also being able to target specific demographics. So you have Messi for soccer, you have Mahomes for football, and then now they also have Anthony Edwards for basketball. And their partnerships are much more intentional, and they want to be able to target like more emerging markets that will help reflect on the next generation of consumers. And Adidas isn't also just about signing athletes that are at the top and who are like considered the best. It's really about signing athletes who will expand the reach of their brand into new spaces and be able to appeal to different demographics. Pretty similar to Nike, but a slightly different approach. So Under Armour, their strategy is a little bit more traditional, but it's still very highly effective. They typically look for athletes who embody work ethic, toughness, and perseverance. And this really helps align with the company's underdog mentality that they're trying to promote, and their slogan being, which is "Protect This House," which speaks on the culture that they're trying to build of toughness and durability and confidence. One of the athletes that they signed, Tom Brady, they have a long-term partnership together, and this is a very clear example. His career was built on toughness, discipline, and longevity, and this really mirrors the brand's identity. And Under Armour, they don't typically always look for the loudest athletes or the best ones, but they really want the most driven ones. So their endorsements are less so about just making spectacle or putting the top faces in front of the camera, but more so about reinforcing their values and try to appeal to people who also have that same mentality, which are a lot of athletes around the world and a lot of consumers around the world. So looking at these three brands, you see three different endorsement philosophies and approaches. So Nike prioritizes cultural leadership and athlete empowerment. Adidas invests more so into a more global influence of the game with targeting specific demographics, but trying to really encompass the entire world. And Under Armour really focuses on work ethic and resilience. And each brand has a different vision, but they obviously have the same goal. They want their athletes to be successful. They want themselves to be successful. And what their perspectives on athlete success looks like is slightly different, but ultimately they want it to get to the same place, which is where the athletes are more so recognized, and certain consumers can have like a different type of relationship or perspective on these athletes. And this is really where athlete product endorsement has trended towards, and it's going to probably continue going this direction for the years to come.
I think a great example of an athlete who has used endorsements as a stream of revenue is Shaq. I think he is the blueprint for athlete monetization. When you're thinking of Shaq, you think of a 7'1" tall, dominant Hall of Fame center who won 4 NBA rings. But what I think makes Shaq truly impressive is what he's done after basketball. Since retiring in 2011, Shaq has transformed himself into a business empire. He's become one of the most successful athlete entrepreneurs and brand endorsers of all time. Unlike most athletes who fade away after retirement, Shaq leaned into his personality, the humor, the relatability, the size, literally and figuratively, of his presence. He's endorsed everything from Icy Hot, Gold Bond, the General Insurance, Papa John's, Ring doorbells, and even Epson printers. But the twist is Shaq doesn't just sign endorsement deals. He often invests in companies or negotiates equity. An example of that is he didn't just appear in Papa John's commercials. He became a board member and franchise owner. He owns over 100 car washes, over 40 24-hour fitness gyms, and has a stake in Auntie Anne's. He's also a part owner of the Sacramento Kings. And in total, Shaq earns over $60 million a year just from his endorsements and business ventures, which is a lot more than he made during his playing days. What makes Shaq's post-career model so powerful is that he's managed to stay visible, authentic, and smart. He's shown that athletes don't just have to rely on contracts, but that they can build lasting wealth through branding, investment, and trust. Shaq's not just selling products, he's selling himself, Shaq, and it's working better than ever.
Hi, everyone. So, over the past few years, we've witnessed a major shift in not only the world of sports, but college sports. The rise of NIL, name, image, and likeness, has spiked, and now student athletes are able to legally profit from their personal brand, which includes endorsement deals, promoting products on social media, partnering with local and national businesses, and then also conducting themselves and building themselves as an entrepreneur while competing at a collegiate level could potentially help lead to multitude of opportunities. Athlete product endorsements used to be exclusive to professionals, so like Nike with LeBron, Patrick Mahomes with Adidas, things like that. But now even athletes in high school and college are becoming brand ambassadors before they even go pro. So where is NIL going in the future? It's headed to what I think is going to be a more structured, innovative, and more of an athlete performative empowerment kind of thing. I honestly don't know. I feel like a lot of student athletes will use this to their advantage. I feel like as my years as a student athlete, I used NIL as more as a networking base. And I feel like more students will start to do that. And then I think also that within schools will start to build in-house like NIL support teams. And then brands will start to get smarter, and then we'll start seeing a lot more long-term partnerships with the different athletes as it starts to expand into the different sports.